Thank you for taking the time out of your day to review the Small Business Health Options Program, commonly known as SHOP. What you're going to learn in this overview is that tax components are beginning to tie in with health insurance concerning the SHOP program. The government will offset your annual premiums up to 50% along with other tax advantages that are inside of this program. I'm confident that you will be very impressed with once you see how this program is designed and how it works for a small business owner and their employees. To make certain that you do qualify for this program, we have subject topic buttons that are throughout this overview. You follow along to do your own due diligence to see that if your group qualifies for this program. If you've made certain that you want to take advantage of this program or you want more information, get back with the person that referred you to this site, or you can simply fill out the contact form to request a customized proposal for your group concerning this program. All right, so let's go ahead and get to it. We provide employee benefits administration services. Our role is to educate, facilitate group enrollments, and manage employees at no cost to our clients. We work specifically with employer groups with 2 to 25 full-time employees for good reasons that will become very apparent during this overview. You will have the ability to follow along by selecting the topic buttons, and business owners need to see in real time how competitive the rates are for group inside of the SHOP program. To do that, you're going to click on button number 7 where it says Group Estimator Tool from the My SHOP Overview website and click on that button. This is going to whiz you off to healthcare.gov. Healthcare.gov has an estimator tool so that we can be able to customize a group scenario in real time so you can be able to see what the rates will look like for your particular area in your county, and it's done by zip code. We're going to be utilizing a zip code here in Michigan, Genesee County to be specific. If you have more than one county, you're going to select your county and click choose. What this is doing is it's giving us the ability to see in real time what the rates will look like for your particular group. Now keep in mind the scenario that we're looking at right now for these SHOP rates. These are for individual only. They don't work like traditional group plans, meaning that traditional group plans, there are one size fits all. If you have to do this for one employee, you got to do it for their dependents and the entire family, which could drive costs up. This is one of the advantages of this program, is that in the SHOP platform, you can do employee only, which we recommend you do it that way because, and there's some strategies around it. But anyhow, you're going to go ahead and put in your employee number, your full-timers, click continue. We're going to be illustrating 51-year-olds employees for our group. So going right down the line, you will go ahead and put in your employees and click continue. From here, it's just going to give you a summary screen to make sure that you've inputted the ages correctly for your employees. You'll click continue. From here, it's going to give you a pop-up window. It's just going to confirm the comparison of plan options that you have here, and you would click next. From there, it's going to give you the category. Again, we're looking at actuarial values because this is involved with healthcare.gov. You're just going to click see all plans. From here, it's going to bring up all the plan options that are available to you in your area under that particular zip code. Going right down, you can see that these are primarily HMO plans. But what you got to keep in mind here, these were 51-year-olds. The algorithms for how rates are computed is based on age, gender, tobacco usage, what have you. And you can see we kind of rated it up based on the age individuals at 51 years old, all 5 in that group. And you can still see how competitive these rates are. Now keep in mind that this is a 50 split where the employer is doing a 50% employer contribution. That means that the employer is going to be doing about $800 for this particular plan option. And we're going to get into the small business tax credit because now tax components are beginning to tie in with this particular program to reduce costs even further along with this small business tax credit, which we're going to get in more detail about how that's going to be able to drive costs down. But let's just take a look at some of these other options that are available in here. Now, when you do a comparison, regardless of where you're at in the country, you will begin to see that these rates are more competitive across the board than the individual rates on the exchanges. These plans are more robust. You're going to see lower deductible options, more robust, more co-pays, more office visits built in, those type of things that are coming along with this. You're also going to see that these plans have a rate guarantee where they cannot go up by 3% in a given year. And that's part of what they call a medical loss ratio that is now built into these plans. So there are a lot of advantages around these particular plans. So again, we're looking at most of these are primarily HMO plans that we've looked at. You're going to see that in your area, you may have PPO options. Again, here we have a PPO option. This PPO option, again, which is a national provider network, much broader footprint of physicians to be able to choose from. You can go in anywhere in the contiguous United States, and you can be able to have access to physicians. And look at the cost of this. For around $1,000 for the employer with their contribution split, that's what they would pay for this particular group. And now we're going to show you how that $1,000 is going to be reduced even more by utilizing this small business tax credit. Now that you've seen how competitive the rates are within the SHOP program, now it's time to begin to understand how powerful the small business tax credit will be in driving down costs even further for your group within your company. So from our website, you will see number 8, Group Estimator Tool. We're just going to select and click on that. And that's going to take you to our spreadsheet. And this is just an estimator tool to be able to illustrate how powerful the small business tax credit is going to be. You simply want to download that to your desktop. Once you have that downloaded, you can see from our scenario that we did on healthcare.gov. This is an individual to group illustrator. We looked at an HMO plan. This is the Blue Care Network, which is the HMO side of the house for Blue Cross here in Michigan. And you can see if all of these individuals went out on their own to the individual exchanges and acquire their health insurance, this is what their costs will look like. Now, again, we had rated it up. These were all 51-year-old individual males in Genesee County, Michigan, and this is what the rate is coming off of healthcare.gov. For this particular individual plan, this is what they would pay. This is real world. So this is what you're looking at in terms of cost for the HMO. So keep in mind that all of the individuals is paying out of their own pocket individually for their own health plans, but collectively, this is what their cost will look like combined. It's $2,246. This is the HMO. Coming down, we're comparing this now against a PPO option in the group scenario for SHOP. And as you can see here, for the PPO, which is a much more robust, lower deductible, bigger footprint of physicians because it's a national provider network, and look at what the cost is. This is what the cost would be for this plan option here as opposed to an HMO. And this is what we're trying to illustrate, guys, is that these plans are way more competitive, way more cost effective. But now let's get into how the tax credit is going to begin to affect this number here that's in blue. So we understand that we have to do at least a 50% employer contribution in order to qualify as one of the qualifiers for the tax credit. So you have a 5-man group. Rate is at $497 per individual. Employee is picking up half of that at $248 per month. And the employer is picking up $248. Now what's nice about this is the tax credit is going to offset that $248 for the employer. So that means your original cost or your actual cost is going to be $124.25. You will receive a credit. Now this is broken down in a monthly scenario of $1,242, and you can see what your 50% small business tax credit would be at the end of the year. $7,455 is what you would receive, and that's a hard tax credit. That's a check that comes back to you in that amount at the end of the year. This is not to be confused with a deduction. This is an actual credit. You're going to have other deductions also along with this that's going to drive down costs up to $115 per participant in your group just by having a group in place, and then coupled with the tax credit is going to drive down costs even more. But take a look at this here. We know that you have to have at least a 75%, depending on where you're at in the country. Typically, it's 75% employee participation outside of open enrollment, which is between the months of November, December, and January of each year. If you need to contribute more to help your employees acquire coverage through your company benefit plan, look what happens to your tax credit. So if you're doing 90%, look what happens to the tax credit over here. Now instead of getting back $7,455, you're getting back $13,000 because you're up in the ante. It's a sliding scale, guys. The more you're going up in employer contribution, the more it's offsetting it here. And you can see in the yellow as we scroll down at your 90% threshold for your employer contribution, look at what your actual plan cost is now. So the actual plan cost would be $2,485 total for the group, but now because of the tax credits that you're receiving by year end, you're only paying $1,366 total for your group, with the amount that's offsetting your cost for your entire group plan. And so that's how this is going to work. And you can see that this is way more competitive doing your PPO option than it would be for an HMO option with all of your employees going on their own. So I hope this is really solidifying your mind as to how important the tax credit in this program can be in reducing your costs. To understand how to acquire your tax credit every year, there's a form that needs to be filed along with your taxes every year, and it's called an 8941 form. And we're going to look into that right now. The 8941 form is something that's really considered a 50% off coupon for small group employers concerning your annual premiums for your group insurance. And it's really the way in which we talked about before in the previous lesson about overview and driving down costs. Well, this is how it's done. It's through the 8941 form. So from our website, number 10, the I-8941 and the F-8941 form, you want to click and open that. This will take you to our collaboration folder. You'll see here where it says the F-49 8941 form. This is the 2016. This is the most current form. So you would just go ahead and click and open that. And this is a PDF file format. And this is your IRS form 8941 to be filed at the end of every year. So you can see that this is 2016. What this means is that have you been a participant in this program during the year of 2016, you would have acquired a tax credit probably somewhere in the thousands. It's a lot of money that comes back to business owners to offset 50% of their employer contributions. It is a good thing to be a commercial business. Nonprofit organizations, religious organizations, they receive 35% of that tax credit. Commercial entities are getting 50%, so it's pretty significant. Now, here's the thing that everyone needs to understand. The new American Health Care Act that was recently passed into law is going to affect the tax credit by 2020. That means that in 2020, the tax credit, the small business tax credit is going to be going away. Now, keep in mind that the rates within SHOP is still extremely competitive, but it is never going to be as good as it is today because of the small business tax credit. You have a 2-year window right now from the date of this video overview to be able to take advantage of this program in full force. Now, there is a second form that also comes along with this, and that is the I-8941. So we'll go ahead and click and open that again. We're going to open up the I-8941 form, and this is something that you may want to provide to your CPA. The reason being is because this legislation for the SHOP program and these tax components that tie in with them is still relatively new. There are a lot of CPAs that are not familiar with this particular legislation and this tax treatment, so they may have a tendency to misinform. Or sometimes CPAs know that it's going to require more work on their part, depending on how your company is structured. If you're a C or S corporation, you're doing a 3800 filing every year. There's some work that's associated on your CPA's part. Sometimes they'll give you some pushback. We're going to show you in the next segment how you qualify, and you will know beyond a shadow of a doubt that you are qualified for this program to enroll your group and qualify for the tax credit. And that's what this is here too, is it just gives you general instruction and a guideline as to how the tax treatment, again, it's giving you required information as to the number of employees you need to have, the amount of income, the average income that they need to make, and then the employer contribution that you have to make up to 50% in order to qualify for the tax credit. And that's basically the gist of what this I-8941 form is all about. Now we're going to show you how to qualify your eligibility and enrollment for your group. You have to really appreciate this tool that we've created, or that healthcare.gov has created now, that really speeds up the process in qualifying business owners for this particular program. So from our website, you will see number 9 where it says Calculate Tax Credit Estimator. You want to go ahead and click and open that. And what that's going to do, it's going to take you to healthcare.gov, Small Business Healthcare Tax Credit Estimator. And from here, we're going to be able to know in real time. And why I say you really should appreciate this, because just 3 short years ago, this didn't exist. There was all paper application. It really slowed down. It was inundated. It didn't function very well in terms of qualifying business owners. And we can understand why agents really wasn't participating with this program at that time. Since then, it's been a quantum leap forward. And this is really all the difference in the world. This can be able to qualify you in real time. So again, if you have a CPA, a benefits advisor, or anyone that you consult with, and they're telling you that you don't qualify for this program, well, you can come here and know for certain if you qualify or not. No one can be able to take that away from you. This is something that they've empowered business owners to have in real time, and it's right on the healthcare.gov website. So we've just created a hot link from our website to here so that you can be able to get at this information 24 hours, 7 days a week, to see that you qualify in real time for this program. Okay. So let's go right down through and fill out the criteria. Again, as we mentioned before, if you are you're not a tax exempt, meaning that you're not a nonprofit or a religious organization, you're going to click that. You're going to see the bar will turn green. Again, we did the scenario for 5 full-time employees, so we're keeping it at that number. We're going to go ahead and put our 5 employees in. Coming down, they want to know part-time hours. I usually tell business owners to skip past the part-time, because really that's not a qualifying factor. Unless you're getting into like hundreds of employees, then you might want to consider it part-time. But if you're talking about under 25 and more, which that's what we work with, don't worry about the part-time piece of it. They want to know total wages. So basically we're going to say that our guys is making $100,000 in total, so about $20,000 each. And then again, these are all your qualifiers right here. Well, we're going to do at least 50%. You're going to select that bar. It's going to turn green. Green is for go, or for good. And you're going to move on. And then you're going to say, well, how much of my premiums paid? Well, let's just say you're doing $20,000 in premiums for the year. And then you want to go ahead and show results. And then as you can see from here, what are you getting? It's going to show you that you qualify to enroll your employees, and it's also going to show you that you're going to receive $10,000 when you file that 8941 form at the end of the year. Again, if you're doing anything right now outside of this program, this is where we're getting at. You're spending 50% more. And again, this program, they're doing away with this small business tax credit by 2020. So it's not to a business owner's advantage to wait on this at all. The waiting game is not going to be an advantage to anyone seeing this program at all. These are hard dollars that are reserved for you, that if you're not participating, it's just Uncle Sam is pocketing and keeping the money, which is your money, by the way. All right, so this is basically how you qualify yourself and your employees. The next section, we're going to be going over our company, our size, our scope, and we're going to be providing a little bit more information and resources so that you can begin to start doing your own due diligence and get some of your questions answered as to how you can be able to actually work this for your company and your employees and your bottom line. From our overview website, we provide additional resources to business owners so that they can begin to start doing their own due diligence as to see how this program can work to benefit their company, their employees, and their bottom line. So, we provide an HR software brochure. You can see topic 1. You would click and open that. This will take you to a PDF brochure file where you can download this to your desktop as well. And it's based on the number of employees, of the size of your company, based on the size of the software program that we provide to you. Now, there is a lot of benefits around having an administrative software like this, or an HR software. It just alleviates the need to outsource this type of function or be able to hire additional HR professionals within your company. This can take the place and save hundreds of thousands of dollars for a small business owner just with the software alone that we provide at no cost to our business owners. Now, the other thing is that we have a shop brochure. You can begin to click on that. That shop brochure is going to provide you additional information. This is from irs.gov. It's going to give you more qualifiers. Again, this is like that instructional 8941 form. This is just providing more detailed information coming from irs.gov. Some people like to be able to get information directly from the source, and that's where this is coming from, directly from irs.gov. And so you're going to have other resources moving right on down the line. You'll have key facts about SHOP. Now, key facts about SHOP, it's an exhaustive read. This is detailed information around everything concerning this particular program. It makes for great bedtime reading at night. I guarantee it'll put you to sleep. But if you're one of those type of people that really want to know everything about this particular program, what's involved, dependent coverage, employee participation thresholds, FDE calculators for full-time equivalent employees. It's all here. I mean, all of the information that you want is in here. Again, it talks about the percentages by state. So it's going to provide all of that additional nitty-gritty detailed information that you want to know, what's considered a special enrollment, and so on and so forth. Moving right along, you're going to see something which is called a dependent coverage. That's option number topic 4, and you can click and open that. What the dependent coverage is all about, you got to understand how group works. Group plans, they're more expensive when you start getting into the dependent and family demographic rates. We recommend that business owners do coverage for single employees only if you really want it for budget considerations. You want to do it that way. And here's why. Let's just scroll down to the bottom of this dependent, and you will see here where it says employers offering employee-only coverage. It says if you choose to do the employee-only coverage and the employee's dependents don't have access to affordable health care offers through employer coverage, the dependents can go out and get coverage on the health insurance marketplace there, talking about the individual exchanges, and they may also qualify for a premium tax credit for cost-sharing reduction that may help them pay for coverage depending on their income level. So what this is mean, all this is saying in a nutshell is, if it exceeds, if you're already giving them a 50% employer contribution for their individual health insurance on the group, they can elect to go out and put that family member on an individual plan. And what they're going to look at is if it exceeds 9.5% of that employee's income, they can qualify for premium tax credit. So now it's double duty. So not only are they going to be able to get 50% of their employer, but they may be able to get more money for subsidies and premium tax credit to be able to offset costs for their dependents and their family members on their health insurance. So this is an advantage to be able to do employee only, and this is why we tell, now sometimes we have business owners that want to go outside of this recommendation for administrative reasons. They don't want to put any additional burden on their employees. Just know that if you do up the ante for your dependents, you still would get an offset, or it still would end up giving you more money on the tax credit at the end of the year to be able to include dependents as well if you wanted to be able to do it that way. But this is just a strategy to be able to keep costs down. All right, so moving along, you're going to see here about the shop button. And what this here is, it's just a brochure that once again gives you detailed information about exactly how the program works. I think it's a two-part pamphlet, and it gives you a little bit more detailed information around how the program can work. And this is a great one to be able to provide to employees as well. So if you wanted to download this and spread this around to your employees to kind of give them an idea as to how this is actually going to work for them, that's what this is for here. That's a good publication for that. So going back, now we're really going to get into our company, our size, our scope, why we're proficient at what we do, why we don't recommend that any agent down the street can be able to administer and enroll in these type of programs. It's a government program with a lot of nuances around it. We're going to get into that in the next segment.